Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Nick KyogreKauai. Today we are going to be talking about my IBA VGC Season 2 draft analysis. Going to be kind of talking about my picks, why I did them, what my thought process was. We're probably also going to maybe look at some of the other teams just a little bit. It's going to be a pretty informal breakdown. I don't have draft slides. The entire draft is already right up here on the screen. I'm just going to kind of talk about each pick. Wanted to make it just kind of a quick rundown of what my thought process was throughout the draft and talk about, you know, my thoughts going into this season and stuff like that. So if you don't know, Draft League is a competitive Pokemon thing where you can basically have a draft where people pick Pokemon and only I can have, for example, the first pick on the screen, like Incineroar. So when I pick Incineroar, no one else can use that. So that's kind of what a Draft League is. Everybody drafts Pokemon for the whole season. You can kind of swap around and stuff, and then there's a set amount of weeks to battle, and then like a playoff. So it's pretty much just like a competitive sports league, but with Pokemon battles. And I've done a lot of them here on my channel, so I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with the concept. But if you haven't, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you see every video. This one, goes up here on Saturday, and a week from today will be the week 1 battle, so on and so forth. Every Saturday will be a new battle video for the ongoing season here. So yeah, make sure to drop a like on this video if you guys are excited. After the video, let me know your favorite, you think the best Pokemon that I picked, or maybe your favorite Pokemon that I have on my team for this season. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. But yeah, without further ado, we'll just kind of jump right into things here. So first round, I think I was towards the middle end, of the draft. There's eight coaches, and I think I was like the 5th or 6th pick in the draft. So everybody else was pretty much picking what's called a restricted, or basically just like a legendary Pokemon. And I realized that I could possibly wait and kind of see what everybody else picked and then kind of, go from there. So when I knew that I wasn't going to pick a legendary this round, my thought process immediately was like, well, let me just pick a Pokemon that could be slapped with any, slapped on any team, could pair well with pretty much any single Pokemon. That way I don't need to worry about picking a Pokemon that I want to build around. I can just pick a Pokemon that can fit onto anything that I decide to come up with as far as strategies go later. So I didn't really have a strategy. I just knew I wanted kind of an all-rounder, generally good Pokemon. And in VGC, that's Incineroar. Everybody knows it. Incineroar is one of the best Pokemon. It's been used in competitive double battles, the official VGC format of Pokemon, for a long time. So I was like, I'm just going to grab Incineroar. I don't care about my legendary. For one, I don't want another person to have Incineroar, and I could just throw it on any team I felt like. So I picked up Incineroar, and then it bounced back around, and everybody had made their round 1 pick, and everybody had already picked their one legendary, their one restricted Pokemon, basically. So I was like, I don't need to pick mine now. I can pick something else, and I can draft my restricted at the very end because everybody else had already picked theirs. There was nothing, there was no way I was going to get sniped, basically. I was guaranteed to get the legendary that I wanted, so I figured I might as well pick up another really good non-legendary or non-restricted Pokemon, which, because Regieleki, my round 2 pick, is technically a legendary Pokemon, but it's not considered one of the restricted or tier 1 highest tier Pokemon. So I picked up Regieleki for the same reason. I was like, okay, Incineroar and Regieleki can just kind of help support no matter what strategies, again, I want to go for. Very versatile, very good Pokemon. I felt very happy that I picked those up for those reasons, and the fact that, again, nobody else could use them, and they're some of the best Pokemon in the game for this style of, competitive battles. So that's my first 2 picks. And then the 3rd pick is where it gets interesting, because I wasn't sure where to go from there. I wasn't sure what strategies I wanted to go for, but I did see that Seismitoad was an option, and Pelipper were both open at the same time. So I was kind of hoping for my round 3 and 4 picks that I could pick up Seismitoad and then Pelipper to kind of have that rain and swift swim combination. I did pick up Seismitoad originally, but then round 4 came around and Pelipper had already been picked. So originally, instead of Swampert, I did have Seismitoad. at the end of the draft, there was a time to make a free swap, and I swapped out Seismitoad for Swampert because by the time round 4 came around, Pelipper had already been picked. I couldn't pick Pelipper round 4, so I ended up picking up Blastoise. So again, originally Seismitoad, then switched to Swampert because they're the same types, but Swampert does different things and isn't really reliant on needing the rain. And since I didn't have the rain, that's why I decided to switch over to Swampert. And then Blastoise is just a really good, solid Pokemon. It has the ability to Gigantamax and have like the really good residual damage effect of Gmax Cannonade. And I know it's pretty commonly used sometimes in competitive. So I felt like I could make that work as a good Dynamax, because that's kind of one thing I wanted. I was like, all right, I kind of have a lot of supportive Pokemon. Both Incineroar, Regieleki, and Swampert are very supportive. Regieleki can Dynamax in the right situations and the right matchups, but I needed something that was like you want to Dynamax it because it has really good, good positive effects of Dynamax, taking advantage of that mechanic basically. So I picked up Blastoise for that reason. It's got a lot of other things it can do too besides just Dynamax. So I thought it was pretty versatile and just a really strong offensive Pokemon. Next up, then after here, I really didn't know where I wanted to go, but I felt like, okay, well, how can I make Blastoise even stronger, or make, I was at this point starting to think of my restricted Pokemon that I was going to pick at the very end, which you can see at the bottom, it's Palkia is who I ended up picking. So I was kind of thinking ahead to what might be a good strategy with Palkia, and I know I've seen Alchemy used as a partner with Palkia. There's some fun things you can do there. Alchemy is a good supportive Pokemon and has some good support options to help make Palkia, and I thought my other Pokemon could benefit from the support as well. So that's why we got Alchemy. Nothing too much else to say there. And then I was a little bit concerned with my dual ground weakness with Regieleki and Incineroar, so I kind of wanted a flying type, and another a little bit faster of a Pokemon, another kind of offensive Pokemon, flying type too. I wanted that. So Moltres kind of fit the description of what I was looking for there. So I think Moltres is a fun Pokemon, and I hope I can use it well. It's not it has a pretty limited move pool, so it does a couple things, but hopefully it will do them well for me. But yeah, that's basically, it's just a solid Pokemon. That's pretty much all I gotta say. I honestly, Moltres isn't amazing or groundbreaking or anything, so I can't talk it up too much. But hopefully I can find some cool and fun ways to use it this season. Registeel I picked up because of the fact that I do have some slower Pokemon on my team. Might want to take advantage of either me setting up Trick Room or opponents setting up Trick Room. And Registeel's super bulky, so I also felt like I wanted another really defensive bulky Pokemon. I also wanted a Steel type. I saw Registeel was available, kind of fit the bill of having something that could switch in, take hits, set up its defenses, operate well under Trick Room if need be. So yeah, that's kind of why I went for Registeel there. And then after that, I was like, okay, I kind of need a Pokemon that might be able to set up Trick Room if that's a strategy I ever decide to go for. I feel like it's good to have that option. We have good speed control as far as Regieleki's Electro Web and Max Airstream from Moltres. So there's ways to boost my speed or lower my opponent's speed, but a way to take advantage of slow Pokemon is I wanted to have the Trick Room option for a third potential means of speed control. And I thought of Alolan Exeggutor as just a fun and cool option because it has some nice abilities too. Frisk can see your opponent's items, and then Harvest can take advantage of getting berries back. So specifically Frisk is good because you get to see in double battles, you can see both your opponent's items. So I kind of I've never used Alolan Exeggutor in double battles, or I don't think I've ever drafted it in any type of draft league, honestly, at all. So I thought it would be cool to pick up a Alolan Exeggutor and give it a try, because it does have the Trick Room. It has a pretty solid move pool of good coverage and good moves that it can learn too. So I'm excited to use that and see how I can make it work. Round 9 is the bottom tier of Pokemon, so there wasn't anything good in the bottom tier. So for my 9th pick, I picked Chinchino. because I feel like out of what was there, a lot of them were like bad Pokemon, and Cinccino is not amazing, but it's by no means a bad Pokemon. It's used a lot in single battles, I feel like, and it's got like a good ability with Skill Link and can do a lot of damage hitting all 5 times for those multi-hit moves. So I felt like in the right scenarios, it could come out in the right matchup and be a pretty solid Pokemon. So. Again, when we're talking the bottom of the barrel here, I felt like Cinccino was like the top of the bottom of the barrel, if you know what I mean. So, and then I'd pretty much already kind of talked about Palkia a little bit, but yeah, specifically I wanted Palkia. I wanted it to be able to go with like Regieleki. I feel like it just pairs well with everything. Like Incineroar, Regieleki, and Alchemy all support Palkia well. Palkia is one that is known to sometimes be. It's got the option of leaning into its speed, but it also learns Trick Room and has the option of leaning into being slower and you know, Trick Room strategy. So I felt like it gave me options. I think Palkia is a really cool and unique type with the water and dragon typing. It doesn't have a lot of weaknesses, really just Fairy is the main one. It might be the only one, actually. I'm thinking about it, actually. Yeah, I think it is. So I like Palkia. I think it's a good Pokemon, and I think it goes well. Looking at my whole draft, I was a little bit concerned about the fact of how many kind of water types I have, but they don't share a lot of weaknesses. Like, Palkia is not weak to electric, it's only neutral. Swampert's immune to electric. Blastoise is the only water type I have that's weak to electric, and Blastoise and Swampert are weak to grass, but then I tried to counter that by having things like 3 other resistances to grass, like Moltres, Incineroar, and Exeggutor all resist it. So I have some grass weakness there with the 2 water type starters with Swampert and Blastoise, but the fact that Palkia is only neutral also means I'm not like super weak to grass type attacks, and I have other things that can threaten and get rid of and deal with grass types, hopefully before. And realistically too, Swampert and Blastoise are kind of gonna do separate things. They probably, I don't know when they would kind of come out in the same battle. They might not come out in the same match, but they have different options. One's offensive, one's more supportive in their move sets. So yeah, that's kind of my draft and what I was looking at here. So I can kind of switch over and we can kind of look over some of the other teams' drafts, because some of the things that I was thinking about were trying to specifically counter some of the really good strategies that I knew some of the other Pokemon that other people drafted were going to be able to do. So I'm going to make a quick cut over to seeing all the teams here. Okay. So going over the first kind of couple Pokemon that were drafted before I got a chance were like some of the big legendaries. Like Kyogre and Groudon are one of the biggest threats in competitive double battles in VGC. So I kind of figured that Kyogre would be drafted. It was the round 1 overall pick, and then that team ended up pairing it with like Tornadus. So Tornadus Kyogre is a big strategy in VGC, so I wanted something like Palkia is good against Kyogre, and so is Regieleki. So like I knew people were gonna pick Kyogre and Groudon, so that's kind of why like my first 2 picks, also Incineroar and Regieleki, counter Groudon and Kyogre respectively there. So I hope that I can handle these really strong legendary Pokemon. Pairing it with like Rillaboom and Tornadus is really strong. Even Raikou and then Raichu. Ooh, Raichu is really good. So actually I didn't even notice that is Kyogre Raichu. That is gonna be a pretty scary combination to deal with, honestly. So I have to watch out for stuff like that. This is an interesting, really bulky team here, like Lugia, Grimmsnarl, Tapu Fini. This is Curse, the coach of the Boston Red Claws, and I know he originally drafted Groudon, I believe, but he wanted Groudon and like Incineroar and Regieleki together. So because I sniped him for those other 2, he kind of switched up his draft. But he's got a really bulky team here. With some interesting kind of not so commonly used but good offensive threats in the bottom of his draft, like the Tyrantrum and Machamp. So that'll be a fun team to watch out for. Over here, we got a Solgaleo, Gastrodon, Landorus, Whimsicott. Ooh, yeah, so the Solgaleo, Whimsicott, those are some good strategies for making your Solgaleo super fast with Tailwind, plus with Landorus. That's a pretty, like, really offensive, pretty scary team. But then you have, like, the bulk from Gastrodon and the support from Intimidate of Scrafty. And then you throw a Lapras. Lapras was a steal in this draft. It was really low in the draft as far as which tier it was in, but you have Gigantamax Lapras, so that's a really strong Pokemon to have for such a low tier. So that could be scary. That could be a scary team for sure too. And then actually my round 1 opponent next week, I'm going up against the Dashing Dittos here and their coach Taechichu, and she picked up Groudon, I think after the fact, once it was dropped, and then has like the Groudon Venusaur core with the Cinderace taking advantage of the sun. Both like the top 3 just love the sun, and then just really good support to go around with Mimikyu and like Hitmontop and stuff. And then Cherim Groudon is just is a strategy that was used heavily in VGC. So really scary because like Cherim's ability makes Groudon even stronger in the sun, and that's just a lot. That's a lot to deal with. And then there's my team. And then over here we have a Zamazenta team with Thundurus and Indeedee. So that Zamazenta with like with Indeedee's support is interesting. And then we also have a Pelipper, which is interesting because I don't actually see anything that like has Swift Swim. So just picking up Pelipper maybe so no one else can have it. But maybe there's a strategy there that I'm not seeing that could be used. Over here, Texas Tyrunts have Kyurem, Volcarona, Landorus I, Ninetale. Oh, they have the Ninetale Sandslash Alola core, which I didn't realize they picked up those 2 ice types there. That's fun. That's fun to use because they can take advantage well, Sandslash takes advantage of Ninetales having the sun up, or the ice, the hail. Jeez, I cannot speak anymore. Set up. And over here to the 8th and final coach here on the draft was the Renegade Zarudes and their coach Rebel. RebelTrainer is always a fun opponent for me to battle. We always have crazy battles, and it always goes down to the wire. So I'm looking forward, but also terrified of battling his team because he has really bulky Pokemon. Necrozma and Glastrier are very bulky, and then has some Powdon's bulky too, and then Intimidate support to lower attack. And then a Rangaroo like for a Trick Room option with the Glastrier. Necrozma, Rangaroo like Trick Room. Alakazam is there just as a a fast offensive threat, but also does get like Trick Room and some supportive moves too. So I'm definitely excited to see kind of what, besides the Trick Room that I'm kind of pointing out, I am curious to see what other strategies the Renegade Zarudes are going to use this season. So then yeah, there were oh, this was just the whole draft, pick by pick. But yeah, that's really it. That's it. That's my team right there in the middle. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and me ranting about things for the past 20 minutes. But yeah, if you guys are excited, definitely let me know. Make sure you leave a like on this video to show your support and excitement for this series, and make sure you're subscribed. Double check you're subscribed so that you don't miss a single upload every Saturday for IBA VGC Season 2. Look forward to seeing you guys every single week, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye!